ZoliDuos are a two-hole bead that work beautifully with Soutache. ZoliDuos are unusual because they have a distinct left and right shape. To remember the difference, notice that the left one looks just like a comma. Let's look at some simple design elements you can begin incorporating into your Soutache work today. Prepare a thread and align and stack two 6-inch long pieces of luxury Italian Soutache. Locate the center of the stack and sew up through the stack at the rib. Pull the thread through so that the knot simply rests on the bottom of the stack. Fold the stack over the knot and orient the fold toward your dominant hand. Pull the thread around the lower curve of the fold and sew up through all 4 layers of Soutache just beyond the fold. Retrace the thread path 3 times, adding a slight amount of thread tension with each successive pass. The goal here is to get the fold to form a tight point. Separate the stack symmetrically and sew up through the lower stack only so that the thread exits very close to the fold. The trick for this technique is to remember to always pick up the ZoliDuo by sewing through the hole that is on the concave side of the fat end of the paisley shape. Sew up through the upper stack directly across from where the thread exited the lower stack. Pull the bead into position, coaxing the fat end of the paisley shape into the fold of the Soutache. Working toward your non-dominant hand, sew down through the upper stack, the second hole of the ZoliDuo, and the lower stack. Now retrace your thread path. It's okay if you travel toward your dominant hand a little bit, but sew up through the lower stack, the bead, and the upper stack. This is the important step, because this stitch will cause the lower stack of Soutache to pull into the concave curve of the ZoliDuo and follow its shape. Working toward your non-dominant hand, sew down through all layers of Soutache just beyond the end of the bead. Now, make some small shaping stitches moving toward your non-dominant hand. It doesn't matter how many. The point is just to get the neck to hold together until you're ready to use the element for something else. You can clip the thread off of your work very close to the Soutache. It doesn't matter if you're working with a right ZoliDuo or a left ZoliDuo. You always pick the bead up by sewing through the concave side of the fat end of the paisley shape. Even if that means for a little while you're going to be working while looking at the flat side of the ZoliDuo. After you've completed the shape, you simply flip it over and the correct side will be facing up. The lefts and rights give you the ability to make mirrored shapes with lots of wonderful design opportunities. To make an element without the folded point, sew up through the stack as you did before, but then take one shaping stitch toward your non-dominant hand. Pick up a ZoliDuo, just as you did before. Sew up through the stack on the other side of the knot. Pull the bead into the curve of the soutache, and then continue to work as before. No matter which shape you make, mirrored shapes look beautiful sewn together or as corresponding pieces on either side of another element. When sewing elements together, begin by sewing through one of the sides of an element that's going to be hidden by another element later on. Here I'm sewing into the right side of the center element because I know that the knot will be buried between the side of the center element and the left side of the ZoliDuo element that I'm going to put on the right. When connecting the elements, sewing through the bead holes of the ZoliDuos can truly help keep things in alignment. After all three elements are sewn together, you can travel down the stem a bit using shaping stitches to hold the component in shape. Making your ZoliDuo elements so that the narrow point of the paisley meets the fold requires an extra step. When you pick up the bead, you must sew through the convex side of the narrow end first. Retrace your thread path to pull the stack into the concave curve of the ZoliDuo. You can then step over and work the wide end of the paisley shape. Choosing whether your points go toward the fold or away from the fold dramatically impacts the shape. Once you start making ZoliDuo elements, you may find it difficult to stop, but that's okay. Make lots. Then make more. These elements can be sewn together, and then the clusters can be sewn one behind the other. You can make an entire project using just this technique, or incorporate these elements with other soutache techniques to make your own fantastic pieces. I love working with ZoliDuos. I hope you found inspiration in this video and you'll try working with these wonderful beads and soutache.